The protagonist had embodied the traditional, doting mother. Her actions, buying the young couple a luxurious, historical condo right after the wedding, providing the inline-text SUV, bringing homemade elderberry preserves and a soft, plush teddy bear on her unannounced visit, all spoke to a deep-seated desire to ensure her son's happiness and ease his path in life. She wanted him to have the head start she never did, believing that a foundation of brick and money would guarantee their happiness. This generosity, however, masked a fundamental oversight. She was funding a lifestyle, not nurturing a man of character. Her love was blind, offering unconditional support without demanding accountability. The shattering moment of clarity. The journey to the hospital, driven by an icy knot of anxiety, was already fraught. The initial discovery of the neglected apartment, the stench of stale smoke, the expensive cognac bottles, the tower of unwashed dishes, and, crucially, the untouched, dusty packet of Veda's heart medication, provided the first, grim evidence of Sterling's betrayal of his marriage. This was a home, not a haven, a monument to his indifference. However, the complete and irreversible rupture occurred outside the City General Hospital. As the protagonist, reeling from the doctor's devastating news of Veda's bilateral pneumonia and near-fatal neglect, a slow murder by indifference, stood on the steps, she witnessed the ultimate act of callousness. A metallic midnight blue Escalade, a powerful symbol of the very wealth she had bestowed, screeched around the corner. Behind the wheel was her son, laughing, head thrown back, surrounded by two young women shrieking with delight. He was celebrating his freedom and privilege while his wife fought for her life just yards away. This confrontation, brief and visually violent, was the crucible of her transformation. She received Sterling's text message almost instantly afterward. "Hey, Ma, can't talk. I'm at the hospital with Veda right now. It's really serious. The doctors are fighting. I haven't left her side. Pray for us." This brazen, cynical lie, the man who had just sped past his dying wife, now asking for prayers, did not elicit tears. It elicited a cold, powerful rage. The text was the final, straw-breaking insult. The narrative emphasizes the precise nature of her psychological break. The tears evaporated instantly, burned away by a cold heat rising from the very depths of my being. It wasn't the sound of a broken heart. No, it was the sound of the patient's string snapping, the one that had held my blind, motherly love for years. The shift from mother to judge. This newfound clarity transformed her instantly from a passive victim of her son's deceit into a strategic executioner of justice. She embraced the terrifying, crystal clarity of a woman in charge, recalling her days running a successful logistics business. Screaming is the weapon of the weak, she reasoned. Her response was not emotional vengeance, but a calculated, legal, and financial dismantling of her son's false world. The first act was the silent, devastating move to report the car stolen. This was brilliant in its simplicity and chilling in its betrayal. She established legal ownership. She had thankfully registered the inline-text SUV in her own name. She used the law against him. She informed the dispatcher that an unauthorized male was behind the wheel and was likely under the influence of alcohol, ensuring the response would be aggressive and thorough. She delivered the killing blow during the arrest. When the officer called, Sterling, desperate, shouted in the background, "That's my mother. She'll explain everything." The mother's response was a precise, cold lie that sealed his fate. "My son. Sterling is currently in the ICU of City General Hospital. He is sitting by his dying wife's bedside holding her hand. The man you detained is a liar." With a few concise, unwavering sentences, she had not only consigned her son to a jail cell but had also stripped him of his identity, labeling him a liar and a fraud to the very authority he thought would protect him. The unwavering resolution. The subsequent 48 hours solidified her role as the unyielding judge. While Sterling sat in a holding cell, attempting to use his single phone call to beg his almighty mama for rescue, the protagonist was at Veda's bedside, holding her hand, funding her care, and collecting evidence of Sterling's true nature, the devastating diary entries. The process culminated in the final, symbolic transfer of wealth. She executed the deed of gift, transferring the high-value condo to Veda, ensuring Sterling had no wheels, no housing, no mother's purse. Her action was not driven by spite, but by a sense of moral debt to Veda. The moment she signed the papers, she was not just protecting her daughter-in-law, she was symbolically burying the spoiled boy she had raised. This theme is powerful because it explores the deep-seated cultural expectation of a mother's endless forgiveness. By rejecting that role and choosing radical accountability, the protagonist reclaims her agency and enforces a standard of justice that the legal system might have missed. She did not just punish her son, she dismantled the fraudulent life she had funded, creating a clear, terrifying pathway for him to face the consequences of his own moral bankruptcy. The death of her blind love gave birth to her terrifying, crystal clarity.